So this math lesson comes from Chapter 5, Lesson 4. We're going to look at division of decimals by whole numbers. So our essential question is, how can you divide decimals by whole numbers? So let's look at our first word problem. In a swimming relay, each swimmer swims an equal part of the total distance. Brianna and three other swimmers won a relay in 5 and 68 hundredths minutes. What is the average time each relay team member swam? So before I do anything, I use my cube strategy to help me figure out what I'm solving in this problem. So the C in cube stands for circle the numbers. So I see Brianna and three other swimmers. I'm going to circle Brianna and three because that's telling me that there are 4 swimmers altogether. Then when I keep looking for numbers, I see 5 and 68 hundredths minutes. And I don't see any other numbers in there, so I think I'm good. So now the U stands for underline the question. So the question here is, what is the average time each relay team member swam? B stands for box the keywords. So as I'm looking for any keywords that might give me a clue as to what operation I'm doing. So I see the word each. I see the word equal. I see the word total. I see minutes because that's probably going to be my label. What is the average? Okay, each. So by these words, each, equal, total, average, I'm thinking I'm going to need to divide. So it looks like my division problem is going to be, they did 5 and 68 hundredths minutes all together, so I'm going to use that first. 5 and 68 hundredths. And I'm going to divide that by 4 because there are 4 people swimming that, because I want to know what each team member swam. So here's my problem. 5 and 68 hundredths is my dividend, and 4 is my divisor. So we solve a decimal division problem the exact same way we solve a whole number division problem. So I put my dividend, my first number, under that house, 5 and 68 hundredths, and then I'm going to put my divisor 4 on the outside. Now, before I start with division of decimals, you take your decimal point and you just bring it directly up from where it's located. It is going to be stacked right on top of there. That is the first step you do before you solve. And now I solve my division problem like a normal problem, the same way as if I were forgetting that I even had a decimal point there. So I start by looking with my divisor to my number that's first, which is my 5. So can 4 times anything equal 5? Well, 4 can go into 5 one time. So we put my 1 up top. My next step is to multiply. So 4 times 1 is 4. Then I subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. And I check. I can't do 1 divided by 4. So I need to then bring down my 6, keeping everything lined up. So now I divide. 16 divided by 4. Well, 16 divided by 4 is 4. And I'm putting my numbers right on top of the numbers that I'm working with, keeping everything lined up. So now my next step is to multiply. 4 times 4 is 16. My next step is subtract. 16 minus 16 is 0. Then I check. Can I do 0 divided by 4? I can't. So I need to bring down that 8. So now, since I brought down that 8, my number that I come up with is going to be put right over top of my 8 here. So now I'm asking myself, 8 divided by 4 is what? Well, that's a math fact. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So now my next step is to multiply. 2 times 4 is 8. Then I subtract, and I get 0. I check. 0 divided by 4 can't do, and I have nothing left to bring down. So my answer then is 1 and 42 hundredths. Let's look at another problem. $40.89 divided by 47. So we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to set it up like a normal division problem. So I put 40 and 89 hundredths. I'm going to ditch that dollar sign for now. And I'm going to put that underneath my house. And I'm going to put my divisor 47 on the outside. So now remember, I said before you start dividing, your first move is to bring that decimal point straight up from where it's at. So that will be where the decimal point is going to be located in your quotient. So now I say to myself, okay, I have 47 as my divisor. I can't do 4. I can't do 4 divided by 47. I can't do 40 divided by 47. So I need to look at 408, because remember, now I'm forgetting about that decimal point. I need to ask myself 47 times what gets me close to 408? Well, I know that that would be 8, because if I do the work on the side here, 47 times 7, 7 times 7 is 49, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. That's too small for 408. But if I did 47 times 8, it's 56. That's 32, and that would be 37. So that would give me 376, which is pretty close. And if I did 47 times 9, I think that would put me over. So that would be 63. So that's 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. 423, which is too large. So I can't use this one, and I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use this work here. So since I already solved it, my next step after I divided was to multiply. So 8 times 47 is 376. Make sure you line up your numbers. So when you subtract, you're not making a mistake. So 8 minus 6 is 2. 10, 0 minus 7, I can't do, so I need to regroup, make that a 10, and make this a 3. So 10 minus 7 is going to give me 3. So then I check. 32 divided by 47, can I do that? No. So then I need to bring down my 9. Well, I already did the work here. I already did the work if I look back at the problems I crossed off. So I already know, I see here that 47 times 7 equals 329. So I'm going to put my 7 up top. Then my next step is to multiply. 7 times 47, I already did the work, is 329. So then my next step is to subtract. 9 minus 9 is 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. And then I need to check. Can I do 0 divided by 47? I cannot. Do I have anything left to bring down? I do not. So my answer here is 87 hundredths. But since this is money, I need to put a 0 in the front of this. I need to put a 0 in the front of that decimal point and put my dollar sign back in. Because remember, you can't forget your label. So let's look at one more problem. I have 61 and 2/10 divided by 9. 61 and 2/10 is my dividend. 9 is my divisor. Remember what I said. Your first step in a decimal division problem is to bring that decimal point straight up and then forget about it. Pretend it's not even there and just multiply as if the number was 612. So I'm going to start. Can I do 6 divided by 9? I can't. So I'm going to move to 61 divided by 9. 61 divided by 9. The closest I think I can get to 61. 9 times 6 is 54. And 9 times 7 is 63. So 63 is too big, so I have to go with the 54. So I'm going to put, since I'm looking at 61, I'm going to put my 6 right above that 1. So now I multiply. 6 times 9 is 54. And then I need to subtract. Well, I can't do 1 minus 4, so I need to regroup. Make that into an 11. Make that into a 5. So 11 minus 4 is 7. 5 minus 5 is 0. So then I need to check. Can I do 7 divided by 9? I can't. So I need to bring down my 2. And now I can say 72 divided by 9. And that's an easy math fact. 72 divided by 9 is 8. So now I multiply. 8 times 9 is 72. And I subtract, and I get 0. So I have to check first. I say 0 divided by 9. Does that work? No. Do I have anything left to bring down? No. So my answer is 6 8/10.